my Instagram going. Hello, Instagram. And we're on YouTube. Hey, YouTube. Let's see if we can get on Facebook. I know most people are probably on Facebook here. All right, here we go. On Facebook. Getting that feed going. All right, so we're going to start a class today on a continuation of what we did earlier today, but don't worry if you weren't there. There's going to be a little bit of review, but basically we're going to go through some body isolations that I will demonstrate, and you will dance with me in some Persian styling and some Egyptian styling. We don't have time to do too many movements, but we'll do really essential movements, core movements, and some arms. And we will also, I'm using a mix of Persian and belly dance music, but don't get too excited. It's not very traditional, so it's just really for practice and drilling. So hopefully that's okay. And just checking over here. Welcome everybody on Facebook and watching on YouTube. I'm just going to check the camera angles on everything. I apologize if the camera angles aren't perfect. I will try to move them if there's anything relevant. Mostly it's going to be abs and arms. Hello, who's on Instagram? Hey, hello. Thanks for joining me. All right, so I have a new microphone I'm using. I hope the music comes across well. We're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to do a quick change. Ta-da. All right. Quick warm up, and then we're going to get right into it. I had to start by just taking some nice deep breaths. Inhale, open the arms. And exhale. And again, nice deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And I like to kind of go up on my tippy toes in between just so I get moving a little bit. Just tiptoe, tiptoe. And back down. One more. Inhale, open. And exhale. Good. Let's get some shoulder rolls going. Just go back. And then singles. And then forward. And singles. Good. And take it to the middle of the back. Wide stance for this. Weight in your heels. You're going to use your abdominals around the back. Pull in and release. So I'm bending the knees a little bit, keeping the weight in the heels. Pulling in and releasing. In and release. In and release. So the goal is to really warm up your abdominals, but also warm up your back a little bit. In and release. Just two more. And we'll roll all the way up. Nice deep breath. Inhale, open. Exhale, contract. Pull in. Sit into the heels. Bend the knees. Inhale. Exhale, contract. In. Inhale, open. Exhale, contract. We'll do one more. Inhale, open. And relax. Shake it out. And get a couple of head circles at your own pace. Just try to relax the shoulders, relax the neck. Reverse when you're ready. And shake it out. Right. And then the other thing we're going to do, I'm just going to warm up the hip flexors a little bit. Just take a knee to one side, the other one is straight, and then straight to the front, both knees, and then straight to the other side, shift the weight, and then straight to the back, and then just connect the dots all the way around, and we'll reverse that. Bend to the side, straight to the front, bend to the side, straight to the back, and connect the dots. Good. And relax. Shake it out. Let's start with some of the abdominal exercises. Take a quick step step to find your stance. Knees are soft. We're going to use our low belly pelvic floor muscles to make little tiny movements, making sure that you're not pushing forward, just pulling up and in, lengthening the back, tiny movement. Let's go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax, nice deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Bring it into the middle part of the abs. This one, we're going to take the feet out, bring it in, to the front, to the back, and then switch. Same thing. Side, in, front, and back. Middle abs, in and release, in and release, in and release. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go to the other side. You can do whatever you want with your arms. Foot out, knees soft, in and release, in and release. 2 and 1. Foot to the front, and in, elbows up, and in. Foot to the back, and in, and 2 and 1. Nice deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Shake it out. We'll go to the other side. Pulling in. Make sure you're pressing into the middle of your back. 2. Let's go to the other side. In. And 4. Pull it into the middle. In. 4, 3, 2, and forward. In. And in. 2, and relax. Nice deep breath. Inhale. Exhale, stretch. Other side. Shake it out. Alright, let's get some shoulders in here. So we're going to keep the abs in, pectorals engaged. Think about tightening your chest. And then we're going to use the muscles back here to move that shoulder forward. Right and left, goes together. And remember our footwork here. So just 1 and 2. Keeping the elbows up. Make sure that your elbows aren't bending to keep them nice and long. And then we're going to turn the palms up toward the ceiling. Keep that isolation. Shift your weight to one side. We're going to take it out to the side. Keep the abs in. Slide across. Back across. We're going to turn the palms. So keep your elbows where they are. So make sure your elbows don't rotate. Keep them down. Palms up, now palms down. We're going to do just the right side or left side. Think of it as the open side. So it might be a different side on you. That's okay. Just one side. Press. Go faster. Go. Isolate. Try to hit with the front of that shoulder. 2. Let's roll it back. Try the other side. Get it going, both shoulders. Extend on the opposite side. If you need to, you can always start with the palms up. Then turn the palms down. Abs in. Just the open side. And a little faster. And roll it back. And shake it out. And go ahead and stretch your neck if you need. Shake it around. Good. All right. So in the next part, we're going to continue into the abdominals. So this time we're going to start circling the hips. So how I use my muscles to make circular movements with the hips is there's 2 movements really. One is a slide to the side where we're stretching the muscles. The other is a contract and lengthening of the back. So we're pulling in through the middle part of the abdominals, the middle part of the belly, and we're lengthening the back at the same time. And you can make this as loose or tight as you want. When we go nice and slow, we want to control that. When we go a little faster, it can be a little bit looser. You don't have to hold it as tight. But let's practice going into that from different foot position. So with the abdominals engaged, keep the rib cage open, pull in and release. And we're gonna do the same thing with our feet. Shift our weight and think about putting our feet in different positions. So just keep your weight on that one side, pull in and release. And then we'll bring that foot in, and then we're gonna take it to the front, pull in. Now if you have room, we're gonna go ahead and step on it and continue with this, contracting and releasing. Drag your other foot across, take it out to the side, pull in and release, and in. Now take that foot, bring it in and release. Take it to the front and release and in. We're going to take it to the back and release. Step on it, in and release, and in and release, and in. Good. So shake that out. We're going to put those side to sides and the front to back together. We're going to make a nice circle. So I want you to think about your clockwise or anti-clockwise or counterclockwise, however you like to say it. So start going, let's start with the regular clockwise. So your clock is on the floor, and if you have a pencil here or a pointer, this is how it's circling. So you're circling on the floor, and actually drawing a circle on the floor might help, or having a clock that you can look at. So we get it going. So we're going to shift our weight to one side, and using our abdominals to push and pull that movement around. You take it to the side, we're going to open. And here we're not necessarily trying to push this out too far. As long as your abs are engaged, go as big or as little as you would like. And we're going to go ahead and bring that foot in. We're going to step on it. Keep going with your circle in the same direction. Make sure your upper body is nice and long. And shift the weight all the way. We'll extend out on the other side. We haven't changed our direction. So make sure your abs are working and pulling it in. So notice how it's a different feeling on this side, because now we're going the same direction, but the movement is coming in towards the body. Whereas when we were on the other side, shift your weight again, put the other foot out, we're going outward towards the body, so it feels different. Bring it back in. So we're going to go ahead and reverse our direction. So now we're going counterclockwise or anti-clockwise, if you like that version. And same thing, we're going to extend one side out. So now make a note, is your movement going away from the body? Or is it coming into the body? So we can change feet, don't change the direction, and then the other side. It's really important to keep this movement in the abdominals and not do too much pushing with the feet or the hips. So you want to really keep it here. So you want to feel your abs really working with that. Yeah? And relax. Take a nice deep breath. Shake all that out. Inhale. And exhale. Good. All right, let me see if anybody has any questions or any comments here. Who do we have here on Instagram? Hi, everybody. Hey, are you guys doing it? Is everybody doing it? You guys on there are doing it. Awesome. Excellent. All right, so we're going to move on to the arms. We'll give our abs a little bit of a break. Move on to the arms. So I've got some Persian style music going on here. Let me check make sure the camera angle is good for the upper body. All right, here we go. Just checking in on all the cameras and make sure I can see everybody. Those who I can see, good, awesome. All right. So let's come back to the upper body, give our abs a little bit of a break. But remember, you're always engaging. We're never not engaging the abdominals when we dance, especially, but when we move. So keep that low belly engagement, keep that slight tension there. For the upper body, we really want to focus on the rib cage and getting that tension in the pectorals. Relax the shoulders. We're going to do the same thing here just so that we have sort of a dance posture, we're gonna go ahead and go into a slight arabesque here. And think about your standing knee being soft, so you're not walking it straight. And if you can jiggle the legs a little bit, that's good. Your legs are nice and loose, holding the triangle, low belly, slight contract, and then roll down the shoulders. So we're gonna start with that shoulder movement that we did. Remember, it's the back of your shoulders, those muscles there. So let's start with that. And bringing them forward, and then think about rolling it back with the same muscles. So as you press forward, roll it back. So really feeling the muscles working rather than bringing the shoulder up to the ear and closing this space. I want you to think about keeping this space open as you use your back muscles rather than your neck muscles here. So I don't want you to crunch this. I want you to think about using your back muscles. Back there, right? So forward and roll back, forward and roll back, forward and roll back. And your arms can have a little tension. Remember, you have a lower half. We forget sometimes when we're working with our hips, we forget we have arms. When we're working with our arms, we forget we have legs. I don't know why that is. It's just something we do. So it's more about body awareness to build these skills. Body awareness is really good for everybody. Good. So let's try not to move the arms on this one. We're going to start bringing the arms up. So think about holding on to some handlebars, and think about keeping those fingertips right on those handlebars. And just so that we don't get too antsy about this stance, we're going to go ahead and step on it and just shift nice and slowly. And think about keeping those movements in the back of your shoulder. Neck is long. And back across. So you can even bring your arms to the front. So you see how we don't want the arms to move. Now we can also incorporate the rib cage. They can work together. Same thing, we don't want to have a lot of arm movement. So keep that to a minimum and really focus on the muscles, and we'll shift across. Yes, good. Excellent. Let's go forward just for fun. I don't normally dance like this, but certainly it's a move, but feels good. Good. All right, shake out, relax. So let's bring it into the arms. So now we're going to think about, and we'll start on the opposite side here. So just having a nice dance posture, low belly in, knees are soft. So we're going to lift the elbows up and then rotate the elbows, bring them down. So rotate, lift, rotate down. Very floppy and messy. Rotate up, rotate, brush down. Rotate up, rotate, brush down. Good. Rotate up, rotate down, rotate up, rotate down. Good. So make sure we don't go too high where our shoulders start to rise. We really just want to get that nice little tension right here. Up and down. So I might even tense up my arms a little bit more just so I have that control. Up, rotate down. Yes. Good. So we're going to use that in the next part. If you need to stretch out your shoulder or anything else, this is a good time to do that. So that track is called The Bridge from Omar Farouk Tekbilek, and we're going to use it again. That's about it. That's about the traditional music we're going to use. It's very nice for getting the sound of the fluid movements here. So just saying hi on Instagram. Hope to see you guys in class too again soon. All right. So let's take that from the elbow. We'll just do one side at a time. And let's go ahead and find a pretty stance with our feet. And think about that rounded elbow. Again, rib cage is engaged. Try to keep that shoulder down, so try not to lift it up. But you're going to use the back of the arm, lift up, rotate, lift down. So here I'm not using the shoulder. I'm not using that movement that we just did. It's going to be right here. So from here down. So we're not using this. We'll save that. So rotate the shoulder, rotate the elbow. So elbow up, rotate, elbow down. So it's just the arms. And here, make sure that your shoulder doesn't roll forward. So we don't want to get a hunch in there. So only go as far as it feels comfortable for you, and you can build on it. Remember, you have a lower half, knees are soft. And just think about your hands brushing. But you're leading with the upper part of the arm. Brush and brush. And if you can, turn to your diagonal so you're slightly looking over your shoulder. So this gets you into the dance mode. So imagine that you're on stage, so that we're not always dancing to the front. Slight diagonal. You should really be feeling that in the upper part of the arm. Let's put it to the other side. So just lift and pivot. So imagine you're dancing, and now I'm going to use my other side for you so you can see how this arm works. It might not work the same, so pay attention to that. Same thing here. We're going to keep the shoulder down, round the elbow, rotate, bring it down. Knees are soft, abs are in, pectorals engaged. Let the hands brush, release, brush. Up and down. If you're at a diagonal, it's really nice. Brush up, brush down. You should really feel that in the upper arm and in the rotator area of your shoulder. So if we put those two together and just come down to our, just kind of a basic pose. I'm actually going to use a Persian one. So fourth position also works. So one foot is in front, one foot is in back, heel to toe. Knees are slightly soft, elbows are in, abs are in, elbow is going to go up. And then rotate down the other elbow, comes up and down. And what I'll do is I'll turn my cheek and my eyes to that side, or just the cheek. So you'll just kind of like, I'm going to listen for the movement, or I'm directing your eye to look at it. So you can tell your audience where you want them to look, simply by kind of throwing your ear in that direction, like, oh, look at this move. But you're not being so obvious about it. It's very subtle. Let's take it up a little higher. Now let's see if we can add the shoulder into it. So now use all of those movements that we did with the shoulder pressing forward. Make sure you pull the abs in. So we'll press the shoulder forward, roll it back, let all the arms move together. Good. That looks nice. And then let's take it up a little higher. So here, as you go higher, you have to keep your abs engaged a little bit more. It tends to fall apart when we start to take the movement out of its comfort range. And let's bring it down. Let's see if we can lean forward, abs pull in, keep that chest open. This one's the hardest one, is getting the chest to stay open while you're moving the arm. So this one's the hardest one, I think. It's very easy to just kind of droop, to keep the abs engaged and start coming back up. Good. And let's just do a forward and back. And you can switch your feet at this time. Let's do forward and back. And we're going to move our arms with that forward and back. Again, same thing, fourth position in the feet. Knees are soft, abs are in. And take the arms up a little higher. And we can even play around with the positioning of the hands. This is very Persian, by the way, if you didn't know. So opening the wrists, closing, pressing out, opening, and close. Good. And open, and close. Good. Shake it out. Good. Do you feel that in your arms? I feel it in my arms. If you're doing it right, you should be feeling it in your arms, in your shoulders. You might feel a little bit in your neck, depending on everyone's body is different. You might feel a little bit in your upper back, or even in your rib cage a little bit, in your this part of your chest, shoulders, where they connect. So take a little stretch, what you need. And we have one more song. For this song, we're gonna do Persian hip circles. So we did our hip circles here very tightly, right? So we're using the same muscles, but we're gonna loosen them up a little bit. And for this one, we're gonna have one foot in front, one foot behind. I'm just gonna turn the volume down just a little bit because this music gets very loud, so I just wanna be prepared. We're gonna take this circle, let's go ahead and we're gonna do clockwise. You're gonna bring your right foot forward as we go clockwise. And if your left foot is forward, you're gonna go counterclockwise. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mirror you. So however it looks for you, I want you to do it this way. It may not be mirrored depending on which system you're watching on. But one foot is in front, and we're gonna start with the hips to the back. So we're gonna use that abdominal contraction. And as we release, we're gonna rock that step to the front, rock the movement to the front. So instead of going outward with the circle, it's always gonna be coming around from the back and coming in towards the front. So it's always gonna start in the back, and then as we step or shift weight, it'll be coming around. In Persian, we normally have our arm to frame, so you can do that if you would like, or have your hand back here, something to frame the movement. So bringing the movement from the back to the front, and this is much looser. Here you are using your body weight, shifting from back to front, back, front. And the stepping pattern is front step, back step, front step, back step, front step, back step, front step, back step. And you can actually travel with this. Normally we travel, we close the movement. Instead of opening it, here's me opening it, this is the opening. We can do that in belly dance, it works really well. In Persian, it usually goes around, it closes. So we're gonna close the movement all the way around. When you bring it back to the front, good. When you bring it back to the front, we're gonna keep going and just keep the weight centered. Bring both feet together, and then we'll switch direction. So we'll go the other direction, and you're gonna bring the other foot forward, and same thing here. You're gonna start with the hips to the back, use that belly tuck. First step is gonna be front, then back. And there's this moment of transition where your hips are gonna go to the back so that they can rock front. So it's front step, back step, front step, back step, front step, back step. And you try to get a circle in there, frame the movement. Good. If we wanted to get really Persian, we could add some wrist circles. Good. So let's close and move it around all the way. Good. Yay. Good job. Shake that out. Take a nice deep breath. Inhale, open. Exhale. All right. How'd we do?
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you guys have any questions? Anybody have any questions? Oh, Roxy, I hope it's not pain. All right. Checking in on Instagram. Hey guys. Did you do it? Did you get your hips moving? Yes? All right. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them either on the chat or in voice if you were. So I usually edit the recording What?
That last one where you're doing that, were you on tippy toe or flat?
No, flat, but you can do it. So everything you can do with going on releve if you want. You can change, go down lower. If you're doing belly dance, you can add a shimmy to it. um, there's lots of arms. So it's just how you use it. And I think the music really dictates the feeling that we get. So those last two pieces were more Persian styling. They weren't exactly traditional, but they definitely had the rhythm. They definitely had the feel to it. So I think the music definitely gives you the feel that you want, no matter what movement you're doing. So even if it doesn't belong in that particular style as a core move, it doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means that you might interpret it a little bit differently than where you originally took it from. So those are things to keep in mind, is that the music is really a big indicator of how you're going to interpret different movements. So those hip circles could look completely different in other dance styles. And just the music is going to give it, hopefully you're paying attention to the music where you will give it a different feeling than what you would in Persian music or Egyptian music. Excellent. You're welcome. All right. Hey, Roxy. Hey, Sue. Hey, Paula. Glad you guys were joining in. So that's the end of our lesson for today. Yeah, I think we're right at our time. So if I'll hang out for a minute, just kind of check the stream. You're welcome to hang out with me for a minute, ask any questions. Thank you, Paula. Other than that, that is our lesson for today. Yes.
Okay, so hips are going clockwise. Do you turn clockwise or just this?
So here's how I do it. If I was to write it out, when your hips are going clockwise, your left foot is in the front. So you're rocking forward on your left and you're rocking back on your right. So if I'm on my left foot, my hips are going to go clockwise. If I'm on my right foot is in front now, I'm going to go counterclockwise. I may have said that the opposite before when I first started. That's why I was like, I don't want to confuse myself or anybody else. So when we go counterclockwise, we're going to lead with the left foot. When we go clockwise is with the left, counterclockwise with the right. So the idea is that it's circling from back to front. And the first step is the hip coming from the back to the front. So back to front. And that means the feet too. So back foot, front foot, back foot, front foot, back foot, front foot. So if you can think about it as being a movement that comes from the back or the outside in, that helps me remember sometimes. But it's a very different feeling than going out. So I'm still doing the clockwise circle, but now I'm leading with my right side. Or if I lead with my left foot, my left side, it looks different. I'm doing the same circle though. So this is kind of the fascination with some of these movements. If you're really interested in a deep dive, I have a whole series of this. You can email me or type in the chat. It's on the virtual studio, which there's a link to in the videos that you can go to. There's a whole practice regimen that dives really deep into all of these movements. So you can get a focused practice of specific movements that you can use for any dance style. So it's not specific to belly dance, although they are inspired and taken from Middle Eastern styles. So it's really good to see you guys. You're welcome. Thank you for the question. This is an excellent question. I know it's hard sometimes with the getting the all of the details out on camera. I'm trying to make sure you can see everything. So hopefully the camera angles work. So excellent. All right, that's it for us for this evening. I will post again when the next live class will be. In the meantime, go to the link in the virtual studio. If you haven't done the foundation courses, the free classes that go through all of the movement vocabulary, and really this is just a little bit of each of those things to prep for what we're doing in the session. But those other classes are they're more recorded practice videos that you can review. So if you want a deeper dive into those things, I would definitely go and check those out. So
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Marty. All right, I'll see you guys again next week. I'll announce when we're gonna go live again. So.
Okay.
All right, have a great evening. Bye, everybody. Thank you.